Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to show you the makeup I would purchase if I was starting my luxury beauty collection from scratch. One of you suggested this video to me, so I really appreciate that suggestion. If you guys ever have suggestions for videos to film, please let me know down below or in any comments because I do write those down and I will film those. I just thought this was a great idea because when I think of starting my makeup collection out from scratch, these are definitely going to be products that obviously I utilize on a daily basis. They're products that I would repurchase. They're also products that I would recommend to everyone. These are not necessarily holy grails, but they are products that if I could kind of choose one from each category, and if I were in the situation where I could only pick one product, these are the products that I would purchase first because I can get different looks out of them. I can get different applications out of them. So they are definitely multi-purpose. They are products that I can utilize in different ways. So I just thought this would be a fun video, but let's just get started with the skin. So I decided not to go with a typical primer because honestly, I feel like if you have a really good SPF that works underneath your makeup, I would just utilize that as a primer. So for my primer product, it's actually just going to be a skin tint, and this is the Chanel Water Fresh tint. I can wear the shade medium or medium plus. I absolutely love this product because it does something for your skin that's more than just a foundation. So this does add a perfecting effect to your skin without it being noticeable coverage on the skin. This is exactly as a skin tint is. It gives your skin a hint of coverage, and the best thing about it is this blurring capability. So it just makes your skin look even better, slightly more blurred and perfected without it looking like makeup. This is virtually undetectable on the skin. It looks like second skin. It does not look like you're wearing any product. So this is a product that I use on a daily or at least weekly basis when I want to go to the gym, if I'm just running errands, if I want to be somewhere quick and I want to be efficient with my makeup, just because I can apply this product and a little bit of concealer and I'm kind of good to go. This is just a staple for me, so this is definitely a product that I would repurchase if my entire makeup collection were to disappear or if I was starting my collection from scratch. And the foundation I decided to choose, you might be surprised I didn't go with like the Chanel or the Dior, but I decided to go with the Peau Radiant Cushion Foundation Dewy. I wear the shade 030 Medium Ochre, and I decided to pick this product because this is a fuller coverage foundation. I would say it leans more medium. You could build it to a fuller maybe not completely full coverage, but definitely like a high medium coverage you could build it to. And I think that I would purchase this sort of product before any of my other foundations because purchasing a product that has more coverage in it is going to allow you to manipulate that product more. You're going to get a lot more use out of a product like this than just buying like a light medium coverage foundation because say I do have an event and I want my skin to look extra perfected, well then I just reach for this and use it on its own, go in with a decent amount of product. But if I want to go for a lighter coverage, I can thin this out. I can either mix it with a primer, I can mix it with a moisturizer, I can just go over top of my skincare so it's a very light layer of foundation over top. I can just go in with a teensy tiny bit of product, like even less than a pea-size amount, like a pinhead amount, and really thin it out onto the skin so that it is a lighter coverage foundation. So the way you can manipulate a fuller coverage foundation will actually get you more use out of that product. So a lot of the time when I do recommend products to people, especially if they are just starting out with their luxury makeup collection, I would recommend a fuller coverage product just because you can utilize it in so many different ways versus just having that lighter coverage foundation. I also love this product because even though it's called the Dewy Foundation, I don't think it's dewy. It gives me a little bit of a glow, but it's not over the top. I don't look oily. It's not too much. It wears all day long. My favorite thing about it and about most things is that it gives that blurred, filtered appearance to your skin. So your skin just looks really beautifully filtered, which I absolutely adore. I just think this is a fantastic foundation. The concealer that I would purchase first if I was starting my makeup collection over is actually a newcomer. This is the Surratt Dewdrop Concealer. I wear the shade 4. I could probably wear the shade 5 or 6 because I do feel like these shades run light. But this is my new favorite concealer, and I really enjoy this because it has a bit more coverage to it. I would say it's medium coverage, Definitely not like extremely full coverage, but it is medium coverage. And I really like the coverage of this concealer because I would say my biggest struggle when it comes to my skin is that I have darker circles. So I do need something with a little bit more coverage, and I do really like the Chanel Sublimage concealer, but it is I mean, that one is kind of buildable to medium coverage. It has a decent coverage, but it has a bit more light reflecting to it. So sometimes I don't love to use it on an everyday basis, but this does not have as much light reflecting. It's a very skin-like finish. It's not too dewy, nor is it too matte. That perfect skin finish. Very velvet on the skin, which I adore. I love that I can use this on the face as well. Because it's such a skin-like concealer, you can use it on the face. So if you want to do that, I'd recommend picking it up in a shade that is closer to your skin tone, because this is just a beautifully designed concealer. I love everything about it. Now, Surratt did send me this concealer, but I would absolutely, and I will repurchase this when I run out of it because I love it so much. It's become my new favorite. It is gorgeous. I really think you guys would enjoy this. So they did send me 2 shades, so I gave 1 shade to my mom, and my mom is really loving this as well. She did really like the Chanel Sublimage concealer, but she likes that this one has more coverage to it, and she really likes that this sets down on her under eyes and it doesn't settle into any lines or creases, so it wears all throughout the day without fading away, without settling into any lines or anything. So this would definitely be the concealer. For powder, this was an easy one. I would definitely purchase the Clé de Peau Refining Pressed Powder. I do hope they release these in other shades because translucent powders are not going to work for absolutely every skin tone. Clé de Peau does seem to be reformulating a lot of products, so hopefully that will be to come. I mean, I hope they don't reformulate this, but I just hope they release it in more shades. I love this because it just sets down your makeup without adding any color or coverage, but it does mattify your makeup a little bit. And this is the best name because it is called the Refining Pressed Powder. And it does refine your skin. Your skin looks so smooth and so filtered and so poreless and so blurred. It is just perfect. I can't get enough of this, and this would definitely be the powder I would purchase first. For bronzer, I wanted to mention a cream and a powder just because I feel like I would want both in my collection. And for the cream bronzer, this isn't marketed as a cream bronzer, but this is the Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint in the shade Sheer Bronze. Again, I really hope they release more shades of this. I hope they come out with deeper tones, and I hope they come out with lighter tones because I would buy this in a more skin tone shade, just so I could almost wear it as a foundation. And why I chose this as my cream bronzer pick is because it's very multi-purpose. So I can utilize this as almost a skin tint and just apply it all over my skin without applying a foundation over top. I can just wear this on its own because it doesn't really have coverage, but because of the tint of it, it looks like you've added coverage because of how blurring and filtered it is on your skin. When you apply this, you will see it is very refining on your skin. So I love that about it because I don't feel like I need to go in with a foundation over top. I also love this because if I have a foundation that is too light or too cool toned for me, I can mix in a little bit of this product and warm it up, deepen it up a little bit. And then I also love this as just a cream bronzer on its own, just over top of my foundation to add a little dimension, to add some warmth back to the skin. And it is the perfect cream bronzer because, again, it gives that filtered effect, but is so sheer on the skin that if you are a beginner, this will be a beautiful cream bronzer to reach for, to try out, because it almost blends itself. It just blends into the skin beautifully like a dream. So it's just so seamless on the skin. So that is definitely what I would purchase first. And then when it comes to powder bronzer, I would purchase the Valentino bronzer first because this is my holy grail bronzer. This is the, oh gosh, what's it called? On the Move bronzer. This is the refill in the shade 0. Now, don't get the full size, get the refill because it is much cheaper. Yes, the casing isn't that glamorous, but the formula, so impressive. It is a powder to cream formula. I'm not going to go on about this because it's been out of stock for forever, and I'm scared it's not going to come back, so I'm just going to mention another powder bronzer just in case. The next powder bronzer I would purchase is the Hermès. This is the Healthy Glow Mineral Powder, the Plein Air in the shade 02 Atlas. Now I would purchase this powder bronzer because I really, really like this formula. As you can see, it is basically my skin tone, but just one shade deeper. So I think this just works really beautifully for my complexion. It warms up my skin, but it's not overwhelming and it's not contrasting. It's not too cool toned, it's not too warm toned, but this definitely does lean warm. So I would only recommend this if you have like a warmer skin tone. But I love the formula of this because it is such a sheer bronzer. You really have to go in with a good amount of product to get like a good looking swatch off of this. But I enjoy that because I like more natural looking makeup. So because this applies so sheerly and it is so buildable, it just looks so natural on the skin. And it's just a beautiful formula. It's a typical powder formula, so it's gonna pick up easily with just a brush. It blends like a dream. This is just a very silky powder and it's just beautiful. So I really, really like this. I can also use it on my eyes just as an eyeshadow. So this is, if I couldn't get the Valentino, then I would purchase the Hermès bronzer. Now for cream blush, this is actually something I don't think I've shown you on my channel, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty Blush Wand in the shade Pillow Talk. Specifically, I'm calling out this shade as what I would repurchase first if I was starting my makeup collection from scratch. And I really enjoy this shade because it looks like I just came out from the cold or I just went out on a walk. It gives my skin a very, very healthy flush of color that looks so natural. It looks like I'm blushing from within. So I really like this shade specifically, and I really like this matte formula. She does have like a shimmer, I forget what it's called, like the glow blush or something. I honestly hate that product because it looks terrible on my skin. And I really don't like the contour wand. I'm not a huge fan of this application, but the product is so good that I don't care. I will continually repurchase this because it is gorgeous. It's definitely something that I wouldn't recommend to beginners because it still is quite pigmented, and I just wouldn't recommend cream products for beginners in general because they are harder to blend and they're just a little bit more finicky. Because this is a liquid blush, it is very long wearing. It's almost like a watercolor. It just sets down on your skin and just wears all day long. It is incredibly skin-like. This just melts into your skin and does not look like you've applied makeup, especially because of this shade. And if you go in with a little bit of product, you can obviously go overboard with this and it will look like you're wearing makeup because, again, the pigment is a little bit more intense. I find it relatively easy to blend. Even if I do go in with a little bit more product than I intended to, I can easily blend it out. But I'm just really happy that she came out with these. I hope she releases more shades because I don't love, like, this is the only shade I like, basically. But I really do recommend it in the matte formula, specifically in Pillow Talk. I do think this is really beautiful, and I think the formula is really lovely as well. But the color specifically is why I would purchase this if I was starting my makeup collection from scratch. I just think it's a really beautiful color. And powder blush won't be a surprise. This is the Valentino Dual Use Blush and Shadow, the Eye2 Cheek, in the shade 2 Very Rose. This is the shade I would repurchase, or I would buy first, just because I really like how it enhances my complexion. And literally, you just need to dip into this once, tap off the excess, and go in, and it gives your skin the most beautiful flush of color. This is pigmented, but it's not too pigmented that I think it's like very challenging to work with. This formula, it's very similar to the bronzer. It is a powder to cream formula. And I love that because it gives you this very skin-like finish. So it's the type of blush that doesn't look powdery on the skin. It melts right in. It is such a creamy formula. It really enhances your complexion and just makes you look more alive and youthful and beautiful. This formula, like I said, is probably my favorite. It has like an ever so soft sheen to it, but there are no detectable shimmer flakes. There are no shimmer particles. You're not going to see shimmer sitting on the skin. It just gives a slight glow. It is a skin perfecting product. It just makes your skin look even better. So this is hands down the first blush I would purchase. When I'm thinking of highlighter, actually this one surprised me, but I will tell you why I chose this formula. So the liquid illuminator I would purchase if I was starting my makeup collection over is this Gucci Illuminator de Beauté. It only comes in one shade. I really hope they release another shades because if you are very fair skin toned, I don't think this will work for you. I think it will be too dark because it's like, it just works for me. So if you have a deeper skin tone, this will be beautiful though. But I really, really love this for a liquid highlighter because it dries down. A lot of liquid highlighters or cream highlighters, they stay sticky or they just don't dry down on the skin. And I hate that because I hate when product feels tacky. I hate when it feels sticky. I hate when your hair gets stuck in it. I just feel like it starts to break down any powder that you're wearing underneath eventually, and it just kind of ends up ruining your makeup if you've been wearing a cream highlight for 6 hours. I want to say it just starts disintegrating and looking terrible. But this dries down, so I really like that. I would say that my favorite way to use it though is wearing it underneath my foundation so that I go in with my foundation over top, and this liquid illuminator just shines through ever so slightly. I really enjoy this because, again, this is a liquid illuminator with no glitter particles. It gives you a beautiful, like, I can't detect any glitter particles. It just looks like a beautiful sheen, so it looks like you're glowing from within. You just have a healthy glow to your skin, which I love. So it adds that little bit of dimension back to your skin without it looking like you're wearing a highlighter. A lot of liquid highlighters have that. It's like this very tacky, iridescent sheen to it. It's just over the top. You can tell you're wearing highlighter because it's so intense, and I just don't love that look. But this is so subtle, it just melts into your skin, which I really enjoy. And now I'm going to call out some issues with this. The issue I have with this, if you apply this over powder products, it will disintegrate those powder products. It will, like, it wears nice for, I want to say, like 2 to 4 hours, and then all of a sudden you'll have a patch where you've applied this product and there will be no foundation, there will be no highlighter left. It just totally disintegrates powder products, which is why I like this underneath my makeup better. Don't apply this over powder products. It does work nicely over top of cream products, but typically I like to go in with powders, so I just don't like to use this over top of my makeup because I do find that it will ruin the makeup in the end. But underneath makeup, or mixing this into your foundation or something, or mixing it into a primer is very beautiful because the glow is just very subtle, and I like that this dries down. So again, it is a product you probably need to work with a little quicker because it does dry down, but it's very, very gorgeous. And for a powder highlighter, I would honestly wait till a Chanel limited edition highlighter came out, and I would purchase that if I was starting my makeup collection from scratch, just because Chanel limited edition highlighters, they're just exquisite. They're so beautiful. Their formulas are usually like of a Bake Chalet formula, so they melt into the skin. They apply like a powder, so you get that ease of application, but they melt into the skin like a cream. They give a very elegant, ethereal glow that I just think is so lovely. But not their permanent highlighters. Their permanent highlighters are not good. The limited edition ones, here's an example, like the Rev de Camellia. This is such a special highlighter because Diana, one of my subscribers, actually sent this to me because it sold out in Canada. So this is just like the most special makeup item in my collection in general. I mean, I couldn't replace that, I guess, if all my makeup disappeared, but I just think the Chanel limited edition highlighters are special. No, I won't purchase every single release, but just a highlighter that speaks to me from one of their limited edition collections, that would be the only highlighter I needed. And you can use these types of products on the eyes just as an eyeshadow as well, so it's multi-purpose in that way. Moving on to the eyes, so I'm not really a palette person. I'm actually not really an eyeshadow person. I would probably be fine just not purchasing any eyeshadows for a while. Like if in real life, if I was starting my makeup collection from scratch and I was trying to save some pennies, I would just use the bronzer and highlighter. But because this is a fake scenario, the eyeshadow palette I would purchase if all my makeup disappeared is this Surratt palette. Now, you can customize these palettes, so you do have to purchase this case separately, and then you just buy the eyeshadows. So 2 of these eyeshadows are the same in this palette. I actually, just before this video, I purchased the shade Chamois. It's like a satin beige shade, so I'm going to replace one of these deeper shades with that satin beige so that I have a complete neutral palette. But this is the shade Griege, this is the shade Cuivre, and this is the shade Truff. And I really love this for a neutral palette because I have the perfect taupey brown shade, I have the perfect warm brown shade, and the perfect brown shade to add as an eyeliner. And I will have that perfect beige shade that I can just use all over the eye or on the lid to brighten my eyes. This is just my perfect palette, and I love the tones of this because it's that perfect neutral palette. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. You have a little bit of sheen in these shadows, but not a shimmer that's distracting or that looks bad on the skin. Not that I think shimmer looks bad. I think shimmer is very beautiful, but the quality of these shadows is just so good. These powder eyeshadows are so flattering. If you're someone with mature skin, you need to try this formula because it is such a creamy powder formula. It basically applies like powder, melts into the skin like a cream, like those other products I have mentioned. Those are just the formulations I really enjoy on my skin personally. I just think they're so flattering. They are so easy to blend. They're buildable formulas. If you're a beginner, absolutely I would recommend these formulas to you. They're just so creamy and buttery and lovely to use that this is would be a repurchase product for me. And again, you can totally choose the shades to speak to you. You don't have to choose the shades that I put in my palette. So I really like that you can kind of build your own perfect palette. And then for shimmer shades, because I have to have some shimmer, I tried to just narrow it down to one, but I need two because I need a going out shade and then an everyday one and done shade. So the going out eyeshadow I would purchase is the Chantecaille Luminescent eye shade in the shade Lion. It's this beautiful multi-dimensional eyeshadow. And I say multi-dimensional because it does. This is like the only time I like to wear a product that has intermittent shimmer, that has a little bit, it's not a glare fleck, but it is like a shimmer fleck. This is more of a metallic shadow, but in comparison to like Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath, this is very subdued and more subtle than that. Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona are quite sparkly and very dry feeling. They're gritty feeling because they have more glitter particles, but this is very smooth. It's a big chalet. You can use these wet or dry. Use them wet for more intensity, but this just has so much dimension to it. So it almost looks like you've applied like 3 eyeshadows when you apply it onto the lid and blend it into the crease. So gorgeous. And it makes my eyes pop. I always love how it looks, especially for a special occasion, because it does have a little bit more glitz to it, because it does have a little bit of that intermittent shimmer, but it's still very elegant and refined. And it's just so beautiful. So I love this. I've actually gone through a full one of these and repurchased it already. And then for an everyday one and done shimmer shadow, this is the Chantecaille Mermaid Eye Color in the shade Copper. This is, I mean, I want to say similar color to the Chantecaille Luminescent Eye shade. It's definitely lighter and it's not as golden toned. Again, the shade Copper isn't really a copper. I'd say it's just like, I don't know, like a light golden champagne. It's very beautiful. It's definitely more refined than the Luminescent eye shade. So this is just a very smooth shimmer. It is very, very elegant and sophisticated on the eyes because it doesn't have those intermittent shimmer particles. And this is, again, a powder to cream formula. So it really melts on the eyes. It makes your eyes look smooth and beautiful. Has a really great pigmentation, but it's not overly pigmented. It's not hard to work with. It's long wearing and it looks so beautiful every time. And I love to wear this in the daytime just for something easy breezy. This is also my mom's favorite one and done eyeshadow. So it works really well on mature eyes. Can't recommend that enough. And that is definitely what I would repurchase if I was starting my makeup collection from scratch. And then for mascara. Now, if Gucci had a brown mascara, I would purchase the Gucci mascara, but they don't. And so because of that, I would purchase the YSL Lash Clash mascara in the shade Brown. I just really like how brown mascara looks on me personally. I think it looks better. I think it flatters my complexion and just, I don't know, for some reason I don't think like blacks or deeper or smoky eyes look good on me. I think it just looks too harsh on my complexion. Like when I wear too much makeup, it just looks really weird. Some people just look beautiful with smoky eyes and with lots of makeup and drama, but I just can't pull that off. I just love this because it's very soft. It's very flattering. I feel like it makes my eyes pop. This formula is very beautiful because it gives you very fluffy lashes, so it gives you length and volume. The one downfall I have, and this is why it doesn't beat my Gucci mascara, is that it does smudge a little bit in very hot weather. So eventually it will smudge. But the weird thing is it's harder to remove. The Gucci mascara removes very beautifully. Totally no effort really needed to remove this. This one, you do need a little more effort to remove it from your lashes. A little harder to remove. It's not waterproof because, like I said, it does smudge a little bit in really hot weather. But I just love the color of this, and I really like how it looks on the lashes. So I do think I would repurchase this before the Gucci mascara. So absolutely love this one. And for eyeliner, the Hourglass Voyer Waterproof Gel Eyeliner. I decided to choose the shade Obsidian, which is a black. And I would choose a black in this circumstance because I feel like the black, it just works better in all situations. Sometimes I feel like the brown in the nighttime maybe isn't enough. I don't know. I just thought black, but I really love the brown one too. Just as a tight line though, I don't really like to use this on my upper lash line just because it is so long wearing and it is harder to smudge out. you have to work quick with this product if you're using it on like your top lash line because it does not move. So I really like it to tight line because it's not going to budge all day and it's just going to complete the look. And then finally for the lips, I would definitely repurchase this Merit Signature Lightweight Lipstick in the shade Baby. I love this because this is a lip color that I can just use on its own without using a lip liner, without using a lip gloss. I love how this feels on the lips. It is, like it says, a lightweight lipstick. You do not feel it on the lips. It glides onto your lips like a dream. It almost, I'm someone that likes that kind of lived-in lip look, so you'll typically see me like rubbing in my lip products at the end. But this almost does that job for me where it doesn't look like I'm wearing a noticeable lipstick. So if you're someone that likes that really natural makeup look, I think you'd really love this sort of product. I really love it, like I said, for its lightweight effect, for the fact that I don't need a lip liner. I can touch up with this and it doesn't ever, sometimes if you like touch up with lip products, it just starts to feel heavy on the lips. Not with this, it's just such a good lip product. Now I was originally sent this to test out and I went through that whole tube, so I rebought this tube currently and it's almost gone and I will repurchase it again. So this would just absolutely be the #1 lip product I would purchase first if I was starting my makeup collection over. I'm not someone that really wears red lipsticks or different colors, so I just need one nude lipstick. And then for a lip gloss, this is not actually a luxury lip product, so cheating a little bit here, but honestly, this is like so much better than so many of my luxury lip glosses. This is the Too Faced Hangover RX Pillow Balm Lip Treatment, and I just love this. This is a clear shade. It kind of looks disgusting now, but this is the most comfortable lip gloss because it is such a thin texture. It is so comfortable. It is so cushiony on the lips. It never gives you that terrible white line. It's so easy to touch up with. It feels like just the most comfortable, beautiful thing. And I love it. So this is just the lip gloss I would repurchase hands down. I love it. That is everything for this video. I would love to hear from you. What are 3 to 5 makeup products that you would purchase if you were starting your makeup collection over from scratch? I always love these kind of scenario videos. And I love to keep the conversation going with you in the comment section. So please let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.